All right. Good morning, everyone. How's it all going? 9 o'clock on the dot. I'm surprised there's so many people actually here. How many people actually went to the party last night? Wow. And you still managed to wake up bright and early and come to us. That's awesome. All right, so let's kick this off. What we're going to talk about for the next probably 60-odd minutes, it's a 75-minute session, but we want to allow a bit of Q&A in the end, is lessons from the field. And from the field is pretty much you guys to us, right? So it's not really us being in the field, but it's what we've learnt from you as a customer, as a partner, and even our own field ourselves, right? Which is our sales field and our services. Things we're going to cover off. The topic is specific about data protection, but it's going to be aligned more around what we do within Intune around data, right? So there will be parts where it covers off the broad EMS stack, so information protection, identity protection, but what we're bringing together here is how Intune brings that security together. So quick introduction, myself. My name's Kwok Lai. I'm actually based in Sydney, Australia, but I work for the product group as a program manager in the customer experience team, right? And the key parts I want to drive here is customer, so the obsession for you guys, and the experience, right? Making sure that what we're building is the best experience both as an administrator as well as your users, right? So something that Brad Anderson, our CVP always talks about is loved by users, trusted by IT, right? And that's the things that we're going to land here. I'll quickly let Clay introduce himself as well. He's on the same team as me, and then we'll get into some of the content we want to talk through.
Sure. Hey everyone, I'm Clay Taylor. I am on the same team as Kwok. I'm based out of Redmond, Washington, here in the US, and I work with a lot of you every single day. Our job is basically to find out what is blocking you, or do you have any issues? Do you have everything you need to actually deploy Intune successfully? We are all about deployment. We honestly, sorry salespeople if there's any in the room, we don't care about sales. We care about deploying. We care about getting you guys to actually use our product and use it in a way that's going to help you protect your users. And one thing I do want to say, as we go through this presentation, there's going to be a little bit of review from previous years. We are going to cover a few things that might have been covered last year as well, but that's because we have a lot of people in this room, even just walking around talking to people, that this is literally their first time really thinking about Intune. They're actually just starting their journey. They saw certain reports that came out from, in rankings and stuff like that, and quadrants that came out a few weeks ago, and they're saying, hey, let's check out Intune. So just keep that in mind. If you are a veteran Intune admin, some stuff might be review, but we are going to also kind of do a recap of a lot of the great announcements that were made this week around Intune.
Awesome, yeah. So let's go through the agenda and what we're going to cover off. First off is, let's think about all the different ways a user could access work-related content or the corporate data. We'll then think about how, as IT, can we then control that access, right? And whether we want to control it at the application layer, at the document layer itself, or further down the stack, so the physical device, or even block it altogether, right? And then the last one will be around common scenarios that you're trying to achieve with these controls in there. All right. Before I get into that though, we're talking about Intune here, but where Clay and I are working is basically around endpoint management, right? So a little bit that Clay already alluded to was some of the really positive views on where we've come from over the last few years, leaps and bounds. So thinking of this particularly here, the three things I want to talk about, right, is the focus is around user productivity, right? That's a key area here. But don't think it's just for Office 365 or Microsoft productivity, right? It's basically productivity for your end users required to do their job. The simplicity, though, is a key factor. When we're designing and building things, it's got to be simple to implement. It's got to be simple to use, right? If you make it too hard for your end users, they're basically going to work around it, find another way of doing things, or not even consume it at all, right? But the key part to that as well is if you're achieving those two, you've got to make sure that you're still securing whatever it is that you're trying to consume there, right? So security, what we then do is as part of building our products and solutions is we think that first and foremost is it's out of the box secure. So getting into it, typical scenario, you're at a Microsoft conference, so we're going to use Microsoft examples, but again, this could be anything at all. This is actually an infographic that is available on the internet, so you can actually download this, keep it as a reference, but we're going to use this as a talking point, all right? And the three areas we're going to cover off in our scenarios and demo later is traditionally, MDM, it's always going to be about locking down the device, right? And locking it down to the nth degree. What we've pivoted on is instead drive it as the identity, right? Because especially now, as you're moving away from a network perimeter, you may not necessarily be able to control all the devices that are on the network. So moving to the identity is now how we're focusing it, right? So it's an identity-driven data protection. We will then talk about data and application, and then we'll finally talk about how we do the compliance part, right? Because normally when you're managing a device, things will change point in time. Software updates, iOS versions, changing of devices, right? So how do you then handle those areas there? So first off, we need to ask the question, right? Who is accessing the data? What's their role? Because not everyone is equal, right? So, and the last one is, where are they coming from, right? So things you want to start thinking about here is user personas, whether they're an information worker, whether they're a frontline worker, whether they're a hybrid, remote, right? Because all those things have to come into consideration when it comes to managing data, right? Where the what level of trust you will allow before you will open that gate. So as I've talked about identity-driven control, things we normally lead with here is conditional access, right? Now, a few years ago, conditional access was an Intune thing, or it started off with Intune, right? And what that meant was when you were trying to consume, let's say, Exchange Online, what would happen there was we would ask the user to have that device opted in to be managed, right? And also for on-premises, we would have a connector to achieve that, right? What we've done over the last couple of years, we've then moved that across to the identity side of things. So if you've got Azure Active Directory with Premium, you then would start leveraging that, right? So the questions normally come up with customers then is let's say, from a licensing point of view, I used to be able to do it in the old Silverlight console with just an Intune license. Now that Microsoft's made the announcement that we'll be deprecating that, why has it stopped working, right? And the focus there is because it's actually coming out of Azure Active Directory now doing that, all right? So Clay's actually going to show a really quick demo of that. You may have seen it already, but what we'll then extend into is some of the new things we've built into that, right? Second point we're going to talk about here is then the roles, right? So that's where then, whether it's an end user, whether it's an admin user, and how do you then allow them through based on what you know, and then what are the things we need to think about that we don't know, right? So quickly jumping through, what Clay's going to show, I'm going to talk through it real quickly, and then Clay will then explain the steps that he's walking through. The conditional access part, normally it would be specify a group of users, decide what's the endpoint, so the cloud service we call that they're accessing, and then what are the rules that is required for that condition, right? First scenario, what we're going to do here is around accessing your corporate mail, right? So very, very, very plain and simple. Things I want to highlight here, though, is in collaboration with the identity team, we're now extending that out where if you're using, let's say, non-active sync aware clients, you can now start to block that, all right? And again, lessons from the field, the learnings we've had is for a lot of legacy clients, web services, or things that do not have protocols within Azure Active Directory itself, you would have to either manage that in other means using ADFS on premises or not even be able to block it altogether, right? So now that's another area that you can then start to block the data or protect the data access with the legacy. Do you want to come through it? Yep.
Thanks, Kwok. So I'm going to jump you through the quick demo here just to kind of show you how easy this is to set up. First thing you're going to notice is I'm actually in the conditional access panel inside the Intune console. I don't have to go to Azure AD. As long as I have an Intune service administrator role, I can actually come in here, launch the conditional access panel, click on policies, and I'm going to protect our email. So as we see here, I've got my protected email policy. The cloud app that I have selected is Exchange Online, and one very simple access control. I'm going to require an approved client app. Super simple to do. You're going to see here, after I switch over, I'm going to actually now show you what this looks like on the end user device. So basically what I'm saying is that in order to check email on my device, I need to actually use an approved client. So here I'm setting up my native mail client, and once I go to put in my password, which is just a demo password, I promise, you're going to see that it says I can't get there from here. So it's actually telling me that I'm trying to access a resource from an app that isn't approved by my administration or my admin security team at my organization. And this is one of those scenarios that we see all the time where people are saying, well, we really want people to check email on their device. We want them to be productive at home, but we want to actually protect that data. And so what this allows you to do is say, you know what, if you want to allow your users to check email on their native mail client, that's fine. They can be fully managed. They can, have all the protection policies. A lot of times you get the complaints by Big Brother at that point. But if they don't want to be fully managed, they can't use the native mail app, but they can use the Outlook app, which, to be honest, is a lot better than the native mail app anyway now. So what this allows us to do is actually force them to switch over to the Outlook app and then check their email without the device being fully managed. Kwok, anything else you want to?
Yeah, so I think big point to mention here is when Clay was talking about the conditional access controls, specifically requiring an approved app, what that's actually saying is it's an Intune aware app. All right? So we're actually using Intune in combination with Azure Active Directory to perform the conditional access controls. And you might hear us sometimes call it MAM-CA or per-app-CA. And how that works is the app itself has to be enlightened with the Intune SDK to allow that through. Right? So all the Microsoft apps, first party, out of the box, they're Intune aware. Things that we're working on towards is we're listening on customers on how do they do their own line of business apps or third-party apps, right? So having custom bits in there, right? And hopefully, the next time we're on stage, we'll be able to show you that, right? But they're things we're working on at the moment.
And while we're talking about the identity side, I just want to point out one thing because it's something I've heard even very recently. Like I said, we talk to customers every day, and I've been hearing this more and more, and it's kind of worrisome to me. Is that we hear about people allowing this, targeting certain groups for MDM, targeting certain groups for multi-factor authentication. And what I keep on hearing is, well, we're targeting everybody except our execs, or we're targeting everyone except for our senior physicians in a hospital, for example. And I just want to, the reason I want to bring that up is, this is lessons learned from the field. And what I've found is that if you go that route, those people are usually, a lot of times, the busiest people in your company. They're the people that are, working 18-hour days. They've got 30 things going on at once. They're, usually triple booked for meetings. And they are the most likely people to lose a device. They're the most likely people to fall for a phishing attack and enter their credentials for a phishing campaign. And so I really, really suggest, as you're going through this, as you're talking to your company and rolling this stuff out, make sure that you don't make that exception. It's just something that I've seen burn a lot of people even very recently. And, it's, yes, they're powerful. Yes, it's an extra step. But an extra step takes them about half a second to do things like putting in a PIN on their application instead of the device. And, it's just one of those things that will actually help you in the long run. Switch over to you.
You're going to go through logging into...
Yep. Okay, so one other demo I want to show here real quick is, so let's say that I'm on a Windows device. So I know a lot of you are now looking at modern management approach, co-management approach. Let's say I want to do the same thing on a Windows device. So what I'm going to do now is actually show you this. I'm going to go try to log into Power BI from the web, to Outlook Online on the web. So I'm going to put my password in. This is on a Windows device where I also have applied this policy. And if I put my password in correctly, You're going to see also on my Windows device, let's say I was logging in from a kiosk in a hotel lobby where I was worried about, my users actually having a keylogger on that device, that sort of thing. You're going to see that I actually can't get there from here. It's actually going to require me to use the desktop app to check my email, to open Power BI, documents, etc. I have to do that from those approved applications. Same thing from the iPad device, Android, it doesn't matter. This is basically where we're putting in these conditional access controls across all of your ecosystem.
Yep. So if you want to flip back to the iPad Clay, so we saw it's a common experience now when you're logging into the native mail client on iOS. You just saw Clay try to open up OA in the browser. And so the policy we've got set here is the required approved app, right? So again, first-party apps from Microsoft are native by default. So what Clay will then do is if he logs into the Outlook app, that then satisfies the conditions to allow that through, right?
So we're going to go to Outlook, and you're going to see that it not only satisfies the conditions, but I'm actually now protecting my data with app protection policies in Outlook.
That's right, yep.
So
the other thing about applications as well, especially from the Microsoft ones, having our SDK, they're going to be multi-identity aware. Right? So at that point there, it means you can also log in with personal account or multiple different accounts to segregate your data at that point there.
And I'm going to go through and show you some detailed stuff on the application management side here in just a minute. And but for now, we will continue on.
Yep. All right.
You want to do the demo?
All right. So now that we've covered data protection, accessing your endpoints and having the enlightened apps with Intune, now that you're in, what happens next, right? So we're going to now talk about app restrictions, and again, how that can be performed without a device being managed, right? So again, going back to when I started this, I was talking about traditionally MDM, it's all about locking down devices to the nth degree and then allow the users to access their work, right? We're flipping that around, so it's allow the user in, and then once we get the posture to a certain level, allow them further to access what they need to, right? So things then we have to ask ourselves is, if I don't know the device or I'm not managing the device, how do I protect that, right? So we have something called app protection policies, and we'll cover that off. So that came out probably around about 2.5 years ago. Over time, then we added additional capabilities with it. And the big one we're going to show you in part of the demo is the access control. So again, it lines up to the demo we just finished. And what are we now allowing the IT administrators to apply based on the access control, right? And again, this is feedback we've heard from you guys on what is it you want us to build, right? So we're maturing the product by listening to our customers and our partners on the challenges that they're having, right? So we love your stuff, but we want more, right? And that more is the feedback we're asking you for here, right? So we already touched on the conditional access and native app, but note that it's all bound by the identity. So identity is key, right? That's the thing that holds all this together. Second point I've got on here is, well, what happens if I'm not using a Microsoft app? So again, because I mentioned we use our Intune SDK, you have the ability to leverage that if you're writing your own apps. You also have the ability to wrap the apps as well, right? So if you've already got the source files, IPA files, or APKs, you can then encapsulate that and wrap that around. There are certain nuances around that, but the key ones that probably to call out is if it's precompiled with the SDK and you're sharing the same publisher for the app, right? So the certificate binding, it means the user will also be able to leverage single sign-on and a lot of the other conveniences that they're coming through. And you'll see that with our Office apps. So you log into Word, you don't have to log in again to Excel, you don't have to log in again to Power BI, you don't have to log in again to Outlook, right? And that's key is because we bake that in there. From a wrapping, it is also identity aware, but it's contextual to the app, right? Not to the publisher. So that's probably the big ones to think about there, right? Anyone in the room actually does app development or compiling, or is it more managing?
Any developers?
No? All right. Because I really want to talk to people around, like what can we do more with the SDK and the likes like that. All right. So let's switch back, and we'll do a quick show on this here.
All right. Thank you, Quack. So first thing I'm going to show is actually how we set up these policies and how easy it is. And I'm actually going to show you some of the new things that we've just added very recently that were just announced this week. So if I go to my Intune console, I'm in my client app section. You'll notice this name has changed a little bit from apps or applications to client apps now. And I go to my app protection policies. You're going to see that I have a few here, and I'm just going to go to this one, the Contoso policy. In order to target an app, I'm not going to spend much time on this, but it's as easy as just checking the box. One thing I want to point out here is if you do have an LOB app, or if you happen to know of an app like Planner, for example, or To-Do that may or may not already have a app icon here, but we do know that the SDK is applied to that app, you can actually hit More Apps at the top of the page, put in that bundle ID down here at the bottom. It is a little bit hidden, but I just wanted to point that out while I was in here. So then I'm going to go to my policy settings. And I want to point out a couple things here. So one thing that you'll see is that you can actually now exempt apps from the allow apps to transfer data within other apps section. You can actually add a exemption here now. So let's say you had WebEx, for example. You were using WebEx for meetings and for certain users. You can actually now allow those users to click on a link in WebEx and open those easily without being blocked from the data transfer rule. Another one I want to point out here is restrict web content transfer with other apps. I'm going to show you this on the device. This used to say the managed browser. Now it says policy managed browsers, plural, because we also now accept Edge as that managed browser. And Edge is a much more robust browser than the former managed browser for Intune. It has a lot more capabilities. You can view a lot more file types. And I'm going to show you some of the other cool stuff we can do with Edge that we couldn't do before with Managed Browser. Another piece I want to point out here that was just added is block third-party keyboards. So I don't know if you've ever seen the end-user license agreement on an Apple device, but I'm going to show you really quick because, to me, it's pretty scary. So this is what the end-user license agreement states. So if we go to General and we go to Keyboards, I highly recommend you point this out to your security team if they haven't read it. The piece I want to read to you is right here. This is the generic Apple, straight from iOS privacy statement. Your device will send Apple information such as your name, nickname, etc. It actually says, oops, let's see, wrong one, keyboards. I actually meant to do the keyboard EULA. Which didn't pop up. But short version is that the EULA basically it actually calls out that that these third-party keyboards can actually look at bank account information. They can look at your credit card information. They can actually exfiltrate that data. And it actually says it right in the iOS end-user license agreement for third-party keyboards. After you apply this third-party keyboard block, it actually prevents your users from doing that. One other thing that the EULA points out is that not only does it allow them to send the data to their servers and collect that data from everything you type in your device, it actually lets them, if you turn it off and then turn it back on, it'll actually let them retroactively go back and copy over any data that was cached that you had typed into your keyboard. Once again, passwords, bank account numbers, credit card numbers, all of that can be stored from these third-party keyboards servers. So when we look at the console, it's as easy to block this as easy as clicking this checkbox, block third-party keyboards. Once you do that, when the user tries to switch their keyboard within the app, it's going to actually block that. The last section I really want to point out here is this new section at the bottom where we can actually set conditions for various actions. So you'll see here for these particular apps, I have a max incorrect pin attempt set to 1. Before, we had the option to wipe the data or to reset the pin. Now you'll see here, if we look at things like minimum OS version, we can actually do three things. We can either block their access, we can wipe the data from the app, or we can warn them. One thing I want to point out about block or wiping the data is that this is actually at the application layer. It's not, if you have multi-identity, a multi-identity app, if the user's logged in with their personal account, let's say in Word, to save their Boy Scout troop files, it's not actually going to touch that data when we trigger an automatic selective wipe. It's just going to pull off the corporate data for the app. A few other options here are minimum SDK version, as Quack was talking about, the minimum app version, and the device model. For Android, you also have the option to block or warn on a certain device manufacturer. So if you had a certain Android manufacturer that you did not want to allow access to your data on these apps, or if you just wanted to warn the user that this experience might not be a great experience, then you can do that. So now I'm going to switch over and show you what this looks like on the device.
And while Clay's doing that, again, lessons from the field is from the exceptions. Some of the feedback we had initially when we implemented this was it was too strict, right? So it was great in the app, you could block everything, but if I'm trying to click a phone number that's in a email signature, or if I'm trying to switch over to another app, it wouldn't allow me to do that, right? So that's where that's come into it. The exceptions themselves are platform dependent. So if it's for iOS, you need to use URL scheme. Luckily for Apple native applications themselves, they've published that. If you're using a third-party one, you need to work with a publisher to find out what those URL schemes are. For Android, it's a little bit easier. It's pretty much just an OMA path or an app ID, which you can pull from the string, and it's fairly straightforward. The other one I want to talk about on the keyboard point that Clay mentioned was, again, learnings working with our customers, was using the native keyboard that's on iOS or Android. All the caching of the words that you're using is actually local to the device. When you're using a third party, what we then discovered was a lot of that, because it was being synced to the cloud, when you flip to another app, even though the data in the app is being secured, all the content or everything that you've written is now available because it's being cached and shared across. Right? And so that was that key feedback on why we wanted to block keyboards there. Right? And right now, it's going to be for iOS. We're working towards implementing it for Android. Right? And the last bit that Clay was talking about around the access controls was they were very fixed. Right? So, for example, requiring a PIN, that's great. But if they enter in wrong X amount of times, the default is 5, what normally would happen in an MDM scenario? Anyone? Device gets wiped, right? Now, in a MAM scenario, we didn't implement that because we're not managing the device. So it's like, well, that might be a bit too strong, right? So what we actually did was we asked them, well, you need to reset your PIN, and how you reset your PIN is you need to re-authenticate with your identity, right? So you don't just go in and say, hey, I'm going to now type in, 1, 2, 3, 4 again, and then I'm good to go. It's the, well, who are you first before you can actually change that? So there's that level of trust first, and then you change that PIN. Working with some customers, they're like, that's not good enough. We still want a wipe, right? And because it's a selective wipe, it's not a full wipe, that's when we started looking into, okay, yeah, how could we build this, right? And now we do have that capability in there. So if you so wish to, go that extra mile, and not just allow the user to wipe their password, but also wipe the data, which I think you've set in your policy that's set to 2, was it?
1. 1 for the demo.
Oh, 1. Okay, all right. So that's that feedback. We're listening to you, right? So again, don't just wait for us to build something. Tell us what you need, right? And then we'll work on how to get that in there. So, yeah.
And as Quack said, everything that we're showing you today, I'd say 90% of that came from you guys as customers, and maybe a little bit higher. I mean, we literally are listening to you, and we are taking your feedback and actually building what you want, we hope.
We're essentially your voice to engineering on what we should be building. All right.
So you're going to see here that I actually went and launched Outlook, and because of that setting where I'm actually warning users that we actually want you to be on a certain version, this particular, I had set it to 12.5.1. It's actually telling me that I actually need to update my app if I want a good experience. I'm not going to get blocked. I'm not going to have my data wiped, but I'm just going to get a warning, a pop-up there. Now I'm going to enter my PIN. Once again, this is at the application layer, not at the device layer. So I'm going to enter my PIN. And you're going to see here that I can open up email. Because of the policies that I have set, which is open up to require links to be opened up in a managed browser, you're going to see I hit the link and it's going to open up in managed Edge browser. So once I am in Edge, you're going to see it launched to the link. I can go in here, I can copy data from this link. Let's say I wanted to copy this information. And if this was an internal website and I went and I tried to paste this now to Notepad, which is not one of our protected apps, you're going to see that recopy. So once I copy data from a protected app and then go and try to paste in Notepad, it is giving me a UI bug. There we go. And you're going to see it's telling me that your organization's data cannot be pasted here. And the reason this is because basically the data is encrypted. This particular app doesn't have my encryption key. And once again, it allows me to protect the data without the application being fully managed. Now I'm going to go back into the Edge browser and show you some really cool stuff. So if you weren't in Jamie Silvestri's session yesterday afternoon, then this will be one of the first times you've seen this. But once I put in my PIN and I go here, you're going to see that I actually have some bookmarks that are actually set up. Once again, this device isn't managed. I didn't have to actually enroll the device in order to get app config policy to this. I was able to save a specified bookmark. You'll see here, docs.microsoft.com. And if I go to something like Facebook, you're going to see that it's actually telling me that I need to switch accounts. Because I'm logged in with my corporate account, it's actually not going to allow me to go to facebook.com. Once again, you would not believe how many customers that I talk to, especially in healthcare and some of the other areas where you have a lot of frontline workers or basically specialists that do have some time on their hands in between patients or in between other things where they basically want to go and they want to go to Facebook on their work devices. And almost every customer I talk to says, can you block Facebook? And so now we can actually say that, if you want to access Facebook, that's fine. You can switch over to your personal account where we don't have to worry about, data being removed from the device. You can switch there. You can switch to your personal account and go to Facebook. But we're not actually going to let you do that from your corporate account. So now I'm going to show you where that setup is in the console, because once again, this was without the device being managed. I was able to set those settings within Edge.
If you just say, Clay, before you jump into that,
Yep.
Notice that Clay showed that with Edge, right? Edge is a consumer browser, right? It comes on Windows by default. You can now pull it from the App Store on iOS and Android. But can you do that with Safari? Can you do that with the other browsers, right? Probably not. And the reason, again, is because it's identity aware, right? You can actually sign in to Edge with your account. And because of that, and it's Intune aware, it's able to do that data protection and controls within it, right? So Clay was showing cut and pasting inside Outlook. But that can apply just the same in Edge, just the same in Intune Managed Browser and all the other apps. Again, why? It's Intune aware, right? Big one there. Another point I just want to quickly talk about when Clay was talking about that warning around being on an iOS version, right? So he set it to say, to tell the end users every time they open it, a little bit of an annoyance thing is that, hey, you need to be on 12 because Apple's now released 12 and it needs to be on the latest and greatest, right? Scenarios I've seen customers actually use it is, especially in education and schools, because they have mixed devices, is with Apple's announcement of deprecating iOS 9 and moving into 10, it's prompting the users to upgrade that, right? So it's that soft and easy way of saying, hey, Apple's no longer supporting 9. Microsoft themselves have also announced that they're also going to deprecate that as well, rather than force all the devices to upgrade and maybe saturate the network and cause a lot of disruption. Let's have the users walk them through that themselves. And then when the time's ready, let's say a month from now where we're not seeing a big uptake or there's that small few ones left, put a block to say, hey, because you're not on iOS 10, don't even allow access anymore. So it's that nice and easy, talking about the user experience, it's how do you guide and allow them to do that. So I just wanted to touch on that, right? Really cool things from a practical sense.
So here's how easy that was to set for as far as the Edge browser policies go. So if I go to my app configuration policies and you'll see I created a policy here for manage browser block sites. And I'm going to come in here, I'm going to target the Edge browser. Very simple to do. And in the configuration, once again, we can provide these to you. But you'll see here, we're basically just pointing to the manage browser, and we're putting in the basically XML. So we're looking at the homepage. We're setting the homepage to www.microsoft.com. Here we're actually going to set the bookmarks. So all I do is put in .bookmarks, manage browser.bookmarks, and you're going to see here I can set those to whatever I want. And here's the one where we can actually restore the ADAL cache and then also add a block list. So the block list is as easy as putting in the URLs. After you open up the browser, anything that is set in this block list URL or the block URL list is going to be blocked as soon as the user tries to go there. And that's that. So when I open up, the one thing I did forget to point out, and by the way, you can probably tell I was just added to this very late in the game, and I apologize. But so
you want to switch over to? You're still on your 5, is it? 6.
Tell you what. Let's go ahead.
And so just on the URLs, again, another point to mention is it doesn't have to be a fully qualified internet-facing URL. It can also be internal URLs as well, right? And again, this is the collaboration we work with on the identity team. What they have something called an app proxy connector, right? So publishing your internal line of business websites to the internet, but without disclosing the URL or domains. And what we're doing there is we're pre-authenticating the user to then see those URL links, right? So again, leading back to your identity, we know who you are, we know the organization you work for, we know what URLs you want to access. Edge, Intune Managed Browser, associates to it. It then pulls a sync, does a link translation, and then automatically transfers over, right? So if I get a link for a SharePoint site or HR site that is single label or something that doesn't resolve externally, it would still automatically redirect over, right? Again, one of those things that you can't do if your users are trying to use Safari or Chrome or some other browser, right? So it's all these things we're building into that is going leaps and bounds beyond.
So the last thing I did want to demo here and forgot to is if you were to enter in an incorrect PIN, I just want to show you what that experience looks like. So since I had a PIN limit of 1 before the app data is wiped, you're going to see here that my PIN attempt limit has been reached. And when I hit OK, it's actually going to do a selective wipe of the data. I'm going to have to log into the app again. And basically, at that point, I know all my corporate data is protected and actually removed from the device.
Cool. Yep. So again, coming from customer feedback, that's brought it through.
Okay.
Anything else you want to? All right, so let's flip back to the slides. So just as a recap, right? So this is normally in a bring your own scenario, right? So it's the end user's device. Generally, you don't want IT to be managing that, right? Even in Microsoft, right? Like we're a company that's so big, we're constantly being attacked. The choice then is, do you want to allow your end users to be able to use their personal device on what level, what roles, or do you have to fully lock that down? That choice there is yours, right? So start easy and then work into it further on. So talked about the different platforms and how we would do that, right? So on Windows, we would leverage WIP, Windows Information Protection, and again, that could be managed or unmanaged. On iOS and Android, we use the app protection, which Clay's shown you. Recently, with Android, they've announced a deprecation of device admin, right, which is the legacy method of managing Android devices. Basically, they're trying to play catch-up to Apple and iOS, and now they've implemented something called Android Enterprise Work Profile, right? And by using that in combination with MAM, you're then starting to segregate again based on the user's identity, right? I've already talked about enlightening the apps with the SDK. That's publicly available on GitHub, right? So you don't have to be some established publisher. Any app you're writing, it's there. If you want to test it out, do so, right? All right, so this is basically just a recap on what Clay showed before, MDM now should be an optional thing. It shouldn't be the only option to your end users, right? Because doing that, it means even their personal content becomes corporate aware, right? So what we want to do is segregate that, device as one, application as the other, right? You still have the similar level of control, so if you need things like encryption, you can still do that at the application layer. Note, however, depending on the different platforms, it may be handled slightly differently, right? The way iOS does encryption, the way it stores the credentials in the keychain, just be aware of those nuances. They're not MDM specific, they're platform specific, right? So what we leverage, so they're probably the cons and pros there on what we work on, is because we're not fully managing the device, what are the things we have to compromise or give up to still achieve the level of security there. We've already done the demo, so let's flip on to the next one. And now we're going to move into that we have to be fully managed, right? So email, everyone should have access to email. When they join the organization, right? Things they expect is a phone number, an email address, and internet access, right? They're probably the three things, right? I don't have that, I don't want to work for you, right? There might be more, your pay scale and whatnot, but from a technology point of view, they're the main ones there. However, not all apps are treated equally, right? So what Clay's going to show through in the demo is like the email is to everyone, but Power BI is only to certain, let's say, managers or people that need to see controlled data. Right? So depending on, it's contextual aware, depending on what application you're using, then we're going to put in some additional rules, right? And again, that ties back to conditional access, which was the first demo we showed you, but now it's also going deeper into the application controls, right? So things you want to ask here is, do you want to manage a corporate device? Generally, yes. How do you manage a corporate device? Usually out of the box, right? So you basically open the shrink wrap, and then at that point, it should be enrolled. You normally don't do a retro, right? Or as a BYO scenario, you can get it to the same state, but that's usually when the user's already set it up, right? So in the corporate scenarios, how you do that, again, to make it easy for the end user, leverage what is available from the platform providers, right? So in the Microsoft world and Windows, we use autopilot, right? And so that's the registration process. For iOS, if it's available and you're buying the devices from an authorized reseller, enroll into device enrollment program, right? If you're buying an Android device, if it's a Samsung, enroll into the Knox enrollment. If it's General Google, they now also have for Android Enterprise zero-touch enrollment at that point, whether it's QR code and the likes like that. If you want to find out more about that, we have had sessions during this week. Chris Baldwin does a really good one around that, so I'd highly suggest you go and watch that again. Obviously, because being a Friday, it's already happened, but it goes into a lot of the details there. Again, the other question you're asked, as always, what is it that the user's trying to access, and then what level of security we want to control on that, right? So Clay's going to go through a couple of new things we've built around enroll restrictions, right? So initially when we launched this, it was, you can enroll up to 15 devices. We don't care what, whether it's iOS, Android, or Windows, right? Including Mac now as well. On the Azure Active Directory side, the default is 5, but you can up that up to 100 devices, if not more, right? So think about how many devices you think a user needs, and then how do you want to control that down? Security baseline is another one that Clay's going to talk about, and that's how do we get more granular on the things that on a managed device we want to control, right? So on iOS and Android, on iOS, Apple provide the profile reference, right? So if you're using the Apple configurator or the profile manager, you would leverage that. We're going to talk about how we're going to do it from the Windows point of view on things that you could probably do with Config Manager today, but you couldn't do an Intune, and then how do we like bridge that gap again to do that data protection. The Windows Hello, again, we're moving away from passwords, so that's another area that we want to look at from a data protection. So don't think data is ones and zeros. Data could just be any information that could be leaked or exposed, right? There are places out there that you can actually find out where your credentials are leaked, right? Like a very famous one is like, have I been owned with a P? You go in there, type in your name, and more than likely any of your consumer accounts will appear up there, and it's been leaked, even to things like Adobe and whatnot, right? Encryption, again, either out of the box or it could be through increasing the level of encryption that's already there. And normally we'll touch on BitLocker for that. And the last bit is around then the integration we do with other providers, and that's usually for mobile threat, right? So if you want to start not just looking at the application health or the device health, but also what is happening within the app itself. How much network traffic is going in and out, what is being shared, what's the source of the application, what are the vulnerabilities on there, right? So rootkits and the such.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So the first thing that Kwok talked about was the conditions for logging in to an app. So, for example, he talked about needing to be on a managed, secure device in order to access Power BI. So you're going to see here that I am on a device. This particular device is not managed. I'm logging in with my standard user account, and I'm going to click Sign In.
Before you do that, Clay, can you just show me, so you're telling me this machine is not managed.
That's correct.
So there's no smoking mirrors because it can happen on stage, right?
Actually, we'll go to
Yep, so under accounts, what we're going to see is under, so under your info again, yep. We can see there that, so Clay's logging in to a local account, right? So nothing is aware context work-wise. This is his own personal account. And then what he's going to then show is how do we distinguish the difference between a managed device and a personal device. So sorry, yeah, come.
Sure. So you can see that because I'm not logged in, and because I'm not managed, I'm not Azure AD joined, I'm not managed by Intune here, it's actually going to tell me that this particular application could contain sensitive information and it can only be accessed from a device that's managed. Very simple, but very powerful and a great way to protect your data. If I were then to switch over to a device that is managed and I go to log into Power BI, the first thing you're going to notice is it actually is going to use single sign-on. Using the same account that I used to log into the device, it's actually going to log me into Power BI, and I'm going to be able to get right in.
And same thing here, Clay. If you can just quickly show
Sure.
Under the settings and the accounts what the difference is to the other machine and how it differentiates the difference there, right? What we've done in this scenario here, though, is it was a personal device, and then we did the enrollment to be managed, right? So that could be either corporate or not. And as you see there, in the other VM that Clay logged into, there was no association to his work account. Whereas here, we can actually see that it's linked back to his Azure AD, right? So again, stressing that it's all identity aware to be able to determine that. And as Clay mentioned, the nice little benefit of having that is also leveraging single sign-on. So again, it's going back to the slides in the beginning around the user experience, right? Not having to re-log in each time. If Clay's going to do that on his personal machine, every single app he logs into, so he tries to open, he has to then log into that, right? Whereas here, we don't, but because we already know who you are, we can then do the validations on what you're trying to access.
Correct. And you'll see that, once again, this is as easy as, instead of choosing the require approved client app like I did before in my conditional access policy, I set it to require a device to be marked as compliant. So that's simple, and you're actually requiring your users to log in from a compliant, protected device in order to access Power BI files.
And what compliant means is it's being managed by an MDM provider. In the scenario of iOS and Android, that means it's being managed by Intune. In Windows, we do give the ability to use a third party, but we'll still have to report that same compliance information to determine that, right? Mac is the same as well, where you could have Intune do the compliance with Azure Active Directory, but you could have Jamf instead to do that validation, whether the device is compliant or not.
The next piece I want to show is your device enrollment restrictions that Kwok just mentioned. So device enrollment restrictions are actually under your device enrollment blade. Some people do look for them under the compliance blade, just as an FYI, but they are under device enrollment. So when I actually click on enrollment restrictions, you're going to see I have a couple options here. And the one I want to show you that's brand new is the Windows 10 enrollment device type restriction. So if I were to select my platforms, and you'll see here that I'm going to allow Windows MDM devices to be enrolled. I'm not going to allow an Android for Work profile. Once I actually go down and select those and go to configure the platforms, you're going to see here that now I can actually block for the first time personally owned devices. So this is probably one of the biggest asks that I have around enrollment restrictions. It was the #1 requested feature that I know of around enrollment restrictions, is being able to allow autopilot only devices. So basically what we were seeing out in the field is that customers were actually deploying autopilot. You know, I have customers that have deployed autopilot to 10,000, 18,000 devices within a few weeks. And once those users are enrolling in autopilot, that's awesome, but then the users were also going to log in from their BYOD device from home, and certain prompts were popping up, or they were trying to log in, trying to get connected, and they were actually enrolling their device, their personally owned device, that these particular companies did not want to have access to resources. They were actually enrolling those devices and joining them, basically going through the enrollment process and going through the compliance check and getting access to resources. So with this, you can see we can actually now block personally owned devices. One thing I want to point out here is that you could still enroll a non-autopilot device, non-autopilot registered device, if that device is actually set or enrolled with a DEM account or a device enrollment manager account. You could actually still enroll those devices. That is a special account, though, that would allow you to enroll more than the minimum device limit, and you would probably only have at most 1 or 2 of those in your company. So wanted to point that piece out there. And then let's go look at some of the other compliance policies and compliant restrictions that we can set. The other piece here that Quack did mention was the device limit restriction. That's basically where you would just say that that user can enroll anywhere from 1 to 15 devices and choose that. So let's go back over to device compliance, and we're just going to kind of go through a couple of the policies that you might want to set and the stuff that we see most often for device compliance policies for Windows 10 in particular. So as I click here, you're going to see that I have quite a few options available from simple passwords to encryption. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is honestly the encryption piece. So if you're using BitLocker in your environment and you want to have your users enroll in BitLocker, but you want to do that with autopilot, right now, if it is if that user is logging in with a standard admin account, or a standard account, not an admin account, then they get a pop-up that says, hey, your company's enforcing BitLocker, and they can actually hide that prompt, and eventually, for a while, they basically, what we see is that they're not actually encrypting their device. So what I want to show you is a policy that I made that is a custom Windows 10 device configuration policy that will actually allow me to enforce BitLocker encryption silently on those devices. This does only work on RS4 and RS5 devices, to point that out. But it will actually allow you to silently enable BitLocker.
And Clay, is that for Surface devices or all Windows devices?
So for this would be for RS5, it would be for all Windows devices. As far as I know, for Surface 4 or Surface, RS4 devices, it would require Instant Go capable devices in order to silently enable BitLocker.
So we're basically leveraging the hardware that's pre-baked on our devices to do that. Yep. Which the other vendors haven't, I suppose, caught on yet on.
So one thing I do want to point out here is you'll see there's actually 2 policies that are required for this. One is allow warning for other disk encryption. This is actually a setting that you have to have enabled, and this is where most people make the mistake, because if you don't have this enabled, for the standard user, it's actually still not going to allow you to block that pop-up. The other setting that I have set here is allow standard user encryption. I have that set to true. For the allow warning for other disk encryption, I have that set to false. So the top setting is going to be the silent enablement piece. The bottom piece is going to be the standard user enablement, where we can actually trigger an automatic enrollment or automatic BitLocker kickoff for a standard user on in a silent way, where they're not going to get any pop-ups and not have the option to actually postpone that.
And keyword there is standard user, silently. Right. To do silent, you've got to be an admin. Standard user, right? Which is why they're ignoring it, rebooting the machine, clicking the X, closing it, right? Never in compliance, or we never be able to true that up, right? And again, how do we discover that? Working with the customers. Hey, we want to do more things. What's going on, right? We could do this before on-prem. We can't do it in the cloud. We could do it with MBAM. We can't do it with Intune, right? Good points there.
The other section I want to show, which has been discussed by Kelly a few times this week, is kiosk mode. So Windows 10 kiosk mode is something that, once again, in manufacturing plants and retail environments, we're seeing a ton of retail environments that have been begging for this, and we've been doing pilots now for a few months in some of the largest retailers in the United States, is kiosk mode. So basically, with kiosk mode, we can do a few different things. One, we can basically force that device into a full screen browser-based kiosk where you can set settings like hiding the home button, allowing the home button, allowing the in-session button. We can actually put in block websites. We can actually set up the home page. We can set up exceptions. You can do all that from here. Basically have it pop up directly into a browser where you can get to all of your web-based applications. You can have it launched to your My Apps panel to get to all your assigned apps and get everything up and running. The other option is actually to do a multi-app kiosk mode where you could actually have, pick 4 or 5 apps that you want your users to use, allow them to switch between those apps, but actually hide things like your start menu, hide things like your taskbar from them so they can't hide your settings options where they can't actually make any changes to those kiosks, but they can get to all the apps that your company needs.
So example you could think there is the hands-on labs we've had running this week, right? We'd be running that in kiosk mode, right? So then the only thing you get access is the hands-on labs application itself. If you're going into a customer's office and there's a registration panel, normally for some customers I see their iPads or something like that, like a mobile device, you can now start using like Surface Go or something that's running on Windows and still achieve that same experience, right? So really cool stuff there.
So one other thing I do want to point out that was just recently released is under compliance policy settings, we have an enhanced jailbreak detection. You're going to see here that this will actually trigger location services to cause the device to check in more frequently for jailbreak detection. Once again, this is something that our customers had asked for. The one thing I want to point out here is that there is some battery drain implications here where you are probably going to see the battery being drained quicker because it is actually using the GPS on the device. So, but this is here, it's a little bit hidden, so I wanted to point it out. It's actually under device compliance. It's under compliance policy settings where you can actually set the jailbreaks, enhanced jailbreak detection. The other piece while I'm in the console that I do want to point out that is something that a lot of people don't know about is our Intune data warehouse. So on the main page, you'll see an overview section, and little writing down in the bottom right-hand side, you're going to see set up Intune Data Warehouse. So literally with the click of a button here, you can download a Power BI file, open that in Power BI, and then what I suggest after you do that is actually to copy this OData feed and use this to connect to Power BI. Once you do, you can literally pull in every setting, every field that's pulled in from Intune. You can actually publish in Power BI. You can have graphs, charts available. You can have your compliance policies in a very easy-to-use chart to roll up to your management. And you can edit the data, manipulate the data any way you want. The one piece I will point out here, there's a up to 24-hour delay on this data being in. It's not real time, but it's something for reporting and getting access to large amounts of data that Intune has and putting that in a pretty Power BI dashboard. It's very easy to do. And there was a demo earlier this week by Dave Randall where we can actually do this now with Power BI Web. So, or it's coming soon where you can actually use Power BI Web. Up until now, it's required you to use the Power BI desktop file. And with Power BI Web, that will open this up even more where you can actually edit these Power BI files and pull your Intune data into the web version of Power BI. So also coming very soon, and if you want to see the demo for that, it's under Dave Randall's session from earlier this week.
Cool. All right. So let's flip back, unless you're done with the Power BI stuff? Yep. All right, so just as a recap. So so we talked about the different methods of getting a device to be compliant, how that ties continuing on to the conditional access theme, which we started off with. Some of the mandatory settings we've talked about there. And don't confuse it with device restriction settings, right? So that's usually your baseline, whereas compliance is when I'm trying to access an application or something on the device, I need to be compliant at this level. So that's sort of leveling up on a further stricter controls, right? And to the point of Clay using the example of the data warehouse, That's a really good example there, because as an administrator, you can see basically everything in your organization, device names, type of device they're on, potentially their phone number if a SIM card's in there, what applications they have, the user, where they last checked in from, right? So how do you control that sensitive data as well, right? Because once we start moving to applications that are not, I suppose, in an MMC console or in a fixed manner, you then have to, think a little bit broader on what it is you're locking down there, right? So we'll talk about the different platforms. Clay mentioned around for Windows, it's Autopilot or Azure AD hybrid, meaning the machine is already domain joined on-prem, and through AAD Connect we synchronize that, right? Because we already know about the device as a posture, but we don't want to allow the user to self-enroll. For iOS, Apple have had open-in management since iOS 7, so you can leverage that in combination with MAM if you so wish to. So then you're having double the power of protection. And the last one I've already talked about on the Android Enterprise and the work profile, but from an app point of view, it's also leveraging the managed Google Protect, right? And that's changed now also is your application source, where it's coming from. So prior to that, what would happen is you would publish that in your own app store, or you could pull it from a third-party consumer app store, or even download the APK, if you had access to that, right? They've locked that down, so the only way you can access the apps now is from an approved app in the the managed Google Play Store themselves, and then it silently gets pushed down. So think of it similar to the volume purchase in Apple, the VPP solution, or the Microsoft Store for Business in Windows, right?
So one thing I did forget to pull up here, and this is one of the new features, and Quack, walk me through this as I go through, but so this is our administrative templates, our ADMX back security policies, and this is once again something that I've had so many customers asking for.
Right.
And it's something that, I'm very happy to see is here. So you're going to see here I did a new configuration policy. One of the use cases for this is being able to set basically group policy objects that you're used to setting for things like Office click to run, or your Office MSIs that are being installed. You want to set certain security features like allowing drag and drop, or disallowing it for Word, basically blocking macros, which is a huge one that we hear all the time. They basically want to block macros from running Office files from the internet. You're going to see here, this is going to look very familiar to you if you're used to using the Compliance Manager software, but basically we're going to enable this particular policy, and it's going to apply this just like it was applying a group policy object to the device.
And again, going back to the feedback side of it, when we announced we were able to push Office Pro Plus directly via Intune, right? So in the past, what it used to be was you would go to portal.office.com, the landing page, you would have a little pop-up in the right-hand corner, and as an end user, you have the ability to install Office on any machine you want, right? The other way you would do it is you deploy it in traditional manner, whether you're using Config Manager or whatever deployment tool you want, and then you could use the Office Deployment Toolkit. What I was seeing a lot of customers were doing were, they were doing that because they still have the Office customizations, right, for the admin template. So when we announced Office Pro Plus being available on Intune, I was like, awesome, great. Now you can push out the app, right? So it means I don't have to have the users manually do it themselves. However, I lose a lot of the controls and the protection on there. The biggest one is caching, right? So what happens when I log into my mail profile? By default, it uses cache mode, creates an OST file, right? So that also means as a user, I can create a PST file and then extrapolate all my work email into another file and have that work offline, right, as an example. So we needed to then work on, okay, great, we made it easy to get Office, but we haven't made it secure for the admins to lock that down, right, because there's sensitive data on that. And that's where a lot of the security-based, the admin templates part have come into it. Another point is around the change we've made with Windows 10 to Windows 7 and 8 on how we would apply registry settings or keys to lock things down, right? So you normally push that out with a group policy. Well, there's no AD in the cloud, so how do I leverage GPOs at that point there? So what in Windows 10 we did was we provided something called CSPs, configuration service providers, so you could do a like for like in some points, but it pushed that out via MDM. feedback we were getting is, that's great, you're giving us all these CSPs, but it's a lot of work for us, right? I have to go and manually add all the OMA URIs and all the values for it. I need a simpler way of doing that. I want to be able to click, in a UI, just the way I did it with group policies, just the way I used to do it on-prem, right? You're not making it easy for me to move to the cloud. Here's another thing that we've brought in to hopefully make that easier for you, right?
And you're going to see here that this is actually the new security baseline that's coming. And once again, as Kwok said, there's 3,000 CSPs for Windows 10. There's 1,800 additional CSPs just for Office. And it's very hard to go through all those to know what is set. So what we've done is basically pull the security baselines that say, hey, these are the ones that you want to look at if you're looking at security features, and you want to apply these to your Windows 10 devices. So once again, this doesn't have to be domain joined. It can be AAD joined, modern managed. I can block toast notifications. I can do things like set device lock settings, event logs. I can actually require event log services to be turned on, require different password types, actually enable the Microsoft security guide. All that can be done now through a baseline policy without you having to go through the 3,000, actually 4,800 CSPs and pick out the ones that you need. And once again, this is something that's brand new. It was just shown for the first time this week, and will be available very soon in your console. And at this point, I think we can kind of wrap up and take some questions.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, so we've got roughly around about 9 minutes left. I did have a couple of other slides, but we pretty much talked through it in the demos themselves. But the key point in this session here is like, what are the learnings, right? So rather than showing you a lot of this that we've already talked through again, I'd love to open up the mics and like really hear like how is this session? It's the first time we've actually run this session, so we weren't sure what the mood was like. Awesome turnout. Yeah, would love to hear some questions. If you don't want to come to the mic, ways you could reach out to us. There's a user voice site, so just go to uservoice.com, Intune, post on that. A lot of our requests, we look at that daily and then figure out like, how heavily is that being consumed. The tech community is another way that you can bring that. If you're a managed account or a managed customer, also work through your account team, your TAM in services, and bring that to us as well. More than likely, if you're looking at deploying this or you're in a procurement cycle, you may even have us engage with you to work through that, right?
One thing I also want to point out is at 10:45, we didn't really cover Windows Information Protection because right after this, and at 10:45, there is a Windows Information Protection session right next door at the Plaza International, so rooms GH. It's about 100 yards down the hall, and I would highly recommend you go and see Derek in that session. So let's open up to questions now, and once again, we'd really like to kind of hear from you. Is there something we didn't cover that you want to know about? Is there something that you've been struggling with, and would love to answer those questions now.
And if not, thank you for staying back on a Friday, being at the end of the session.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
On the app protection policies, so is it possible to layer them? So like you create one app protection policy that maybe describes what happens when you enter your PIN too many times so that it applies to multiple applications, and then have other app protection policies that are more specific for things that are different, maybe not global, right?
Well,
so the idea is that you would have some settings that apply to all your apps and some settings that only apply to some apps.
Absolutely possible, and it's what I actually did. So I had a demo set up for it that I didn't get to, but so it's easy as coming here and choosing your targeted apps for that particular app, and then applying those policies. Then you can actually, so this particular policy, let's say I didn't have the wipe application data after 2 wipes. I wanted to set this to 10, but for one app that has super sensitive information, I could set that to wipe the app data after 1 incorrect PIN attempt. Very simple to do.
I'd probably add one caveat in there, though, is you wouldn't have the targeted apps in multiple policies.
You can or cannot?
You cannot at the moment, because it's a one-to-one relationship. So it's a policy per app when you sign into it. Right?
Yeah, so one policy per app, but you can have multiple policies with different apps.
Right.
So it would be super handy to be able to have like kind of a global policy and a hierarchy, so that we could say, only change the setting in one place, have it apply to all the apps, and then other settings for that app that
Yeah,
are
I've
different.
heard that. Similar to like, strongest wins kind of thing, right? So
yeah,
like,
yeah.
do a cumulative, right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Perfect.
Pardon?
You can have two
You can.
strongest wins. So if you can have one set to everybody and then another subset of users that maybe have a stricter policy, you can do that.
Cool.
Still, strongest will win.
And so Jamie actually owns our MAM SDK. So he definitely will know. And yep, so there's your answer. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Over here?
So for an organization that is just looking at 365 and has thousands of mobile devices deployed, tied into like a mobile iron or an AirWatch, so my understanding is without tying it into Azure AD, it's somehow, which isn't clear to me right now, the devices will be considered unmanaged. So to make the most of 365 and Intune, is it recommended that you take all of your devices that are already DEP enrolled, already tied to your existing MDM, and swing them over to Intune and just
It
deal with
depends
the
on what
pain?
you want to do. I mean,
Sure.
what we see a lot of people doing is kind of a walk, crawl, run, or
Sure.
crawl, run, walk. Is basically leave that device managed with whatever MDM you have. Start out with application protection policies, which you can actually have side by side. With MDM, you can only have one MDM provider manage the device. With application protection policies, you can have we can apply this even if the device is already managed. And we basically see customers doing protecting their app data side by side with an AirWatch or a mobile iron. Then over time they start to migrate their devices and they start to
see.
move them to Intune. That's really what we're seeing the most of.
I see, which may require a backup and
Right,
reprovisioning.
right. So what we've done is we've actually partnered with a company called EBF, and they seamlessly help with that transition from unenrolling from an existing MDM
Sure.
and then re-enrolling or guiding the user to self-enroll into Intune. But you are right. Unmanaged will be deemed either managed by a third party or not managed, essentially not managed by Intune, right,
Okay.
at any layer. But as Clay mentioned, you can combine it together, right? So it's not I have to do a big bang. The approach is, move in at the application layer, and then when they're ready, whether the device gets refreshed or they're willing to unenroll, you don't have to do a wipe. In the depth, that might come up in that.
Yes.
But look at the ways on how you can start to leverage the new things in M365 while you're still having users managed in whatever you're currently using.
Okay.
And for depth, there's actually a workaround where if you don't want the device to be, if you're okay with it not being actually DEP enrolled, just managed, you can actually move from DEP enrolled to manage with Intune.
Yeah, the value with DEP is the over-the-air control, the control of the OS updates.
And that's what we see, basically them moving over to Intune, then basically doing a wipe when they can.
Yep.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
All right.
What was the name of the program that you're working with to help on conversions?
EBF.
EBF.
EBF, okay. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on how general thought on information protection is that it's great that there's, you've got MAM policies, conditional access, now SharePoint's providing new mechanisms for protecting
and soon
data.
Exchange.
It's a lot to have to figure out where you're supposed to protect the data. So has Microsoft recognized that we have a lot of different ways to protect data, and we need to either consolidate that together, provide a better best practice guide for how to do that, for how to help customers protect their data?
As in writing a white paper, you mean, or?
Yeah, just
Like
whatever.
A
Just
single pane of glass is what you're looking for.
yeah,
where-
what are your thoughts on
Well,
what
the
I
single
just
pane
said?
of glass, I think, is there because Brad Anderson showed the new M365 admin portal. So
we are trying to
admin.microsoft.com.
we're trying to do exactly that, bring everything together.
Yeah, there are a lot of great things, right? But it's just they're different places.
I actually totally agree with you,
Bring it
and,
all together.
I do think we need to consolidate some, and it's going to be an overtime thing because
Gotcha.
there's a lot coming out right now, and it's just pulling all those things into one console. It's a lot of different teams working together, and we're doing it, but it's going to.
We're going to work through it through the winter, or through your winter because I'm in summer.
Yep.
Just had a quick specific question about app protection. We use it for user-on-device scenarios and want the strict MAM policies only to apply to unmanaged devices.
Sure.
A while ago, that setting was added to target it only to unmanaged devices.
Yep.
But for the app to be aware that it's on a managed device, it needs the Intune MAM UPN configuration. Otherwise, it was also applied on managed devices. And that app configuration is only applied if you install it from the company portal and not from the App Store. So I was wondering if you're aware of that and if there's anything planned to...
The managed UPN is more for open-in, I believe, because we need to bind the username for the installed apps versus the native managed apps, as in like SDK-aware apps.
So, yeah, and we might want to follow up with you afterwards. I'm not sure I totally followed what we were saying there.
Okay,
So,
yeah,
yeah, we'll follow up after.
perfect.
Yep.
On the
We're just a little bit over time, so one more question. Yep.
Yeah, so my question is specifically about MAM. It's two parts. So if you do MAM only, do you require the company portal be installed to report back device
On
health?
Android currently, you do, because we don't have a way on validating and checking what the policies are coming down on. On iOS, each application, because it's using the APNS to do the communications or Apple's channel, we pull it through that way there.
So what we found we had to do with iOS devices specifically is mark all devices as compliant in
So the compliance will only be for an
enrollment, and then
MDM.
like approved apps through conditional access to make sure that the device was compliant.
I'd have to look. That doesn't sound.
So required approved apps isn't a requirement for MDM or compliance, but that is coming. We don't have it currently today. So you'll hear things called conditional access with policy assurance.
You're talking about this where require approved client apps?
Yeah, that's what we're using. So like if you go to the home screen and you go to device enrollment, like for iOS,
Yep.
so all the way up to the home tab,
Oh.
and then device enrollment,
Yep.
and then Apple enrollment. Somewhere in here, I feel like we had to mark all devices as
You can categorize the app, the device. So you can categorize as corporate or personal, but that's more for what type of policies we want to extract and that. But the compliance is essentially, is it being managed and what's the health state of that device?
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But in the MAM scenario, I think what you're thinking about in the MAM scenario is it has to register first. And on iOS, the way it registers, it uses the Azure Authenticator app as the broker to do the registration. So what will happen is when you open up, let's say, Outlook, and you don't have the Authenticator app, it'll ask you to download that purely for a registration purpose, nothing more.
Can you reach out to us about
But
that?
we can take that offline
Yeah,
if you
no,
want
yeah.
further. Yeah. Yeah, we do. Yep.